This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the Mercenary Geologist, Mr. Mickey Fulp. Mickey, how are you?
I'm well, Gerardo, and you?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much for asking. We were talking off air a little bit. You've been busy with conferences. How is the energy out there? What are you seeing?
Well, it's hard to tell about the energy, but here's what I do see. The conferences I've been at are mainly for high net worth investors, and these are people who have been through bull and bear markets previously, and so I think the overall mood is cautiously optimistic that we have better days ahead. The metal prices are at 52 weeks lows pretty much across the board or thereabout, and that's not so unusual. Commonly we see seasonal trends that lead to summertime, if not yearly lows. I think it's exacerbated by all this trade tariff talk, which in my opinion is a lot of talk that's part of negotiations. From that same viewpoint, though, the Toronto Venture Exchange has hit multiple 52-week lows pretty much every week over the last 4 weeks. And that really is, I think, in response to low metal prices.
You know, you touched on the geopolitical factors, and there's a lot of bark. There's a little bit of bite. Do you think we're going to get more bite here soon, or do you see that becoming less of an issue as we move forward?
I see it becoming less of an issue. It's Trump has already started to, or the Europeans have started to cuddle up to Trump, let's say. U.S. is still the world's largest economy by far, and we're kind of in the driver's seat on this stuff. I buy into the idea that we've been treated on an unlevel playing field by our trading partners and also the World Trade Organization for quite some time now. And it's really, this whole thing is aimed at China with the theft of intellectual property and a very uneven playing field with the Chinese. So there will be some collateral damage to that. But ultimately, our two best friends, in my opinion, are our neighbors to the north, Canada, and our neighbors to the south, Mexico. And I think really what Trump's aiming for is a dissolution of NAFTA and a free trade zone through the Americas with no tariffs. And wouldn't that be nice? We'll see where it all goes, but in my opinion, a lot of it's just talk. It's the art of the deal. He is a great negotiator, just like Reagan was a great communicator, in my opinion.
Well said, Mickey. I think you have a better handle on it than he does.
Yeah, but he's got the bully pulpit, so I actually think he knows what he's doing. He's got Larry Kudlow, who is a very staunch free trader, who's also served in the Reagan administration and has been a pundit on CNBC for as long as I've been watching CNBC. And he's got Kudlow behind him, and Kudlow supports what he's doing right now. But ultimately, I think it's, at least in the Americas, we're moving toward no tariffs, free trade. At least I hope that's so.
Let me ask you this, Mickey. You mentioned Larry Kudlow, who, of course, is a very, very strong advocate for a strong dollar. Do you think that will have an effect as far as policy goes, and how does that affect the little tiny space that we speculate in, the junior resource space?
Well, that it's a bit of a flip of the coin there. In terms of Kudlow, Trump is on record of wanting a weak dollar, and a weak dollar, I think, helps our economy because it makes our goods more attractive overseas. And it's also good for our business because when you have a weak dollar, you're going to have metal prices that are going to go up. And really, a lot of the downturn over the summer has been because the dollar's gone up, well, let's say, over 5 points. Actually, went from its low, it went from 88.50 or so in mid-April, and it's hit as high as 95 and a half. It's 94.7 today, but that's over a 6% rise. Uh, Even at today's price of DXY in the last 3 months.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, gold's down about 10% over that period of time. So a significant amount of the weakness in metals can be attributed directly to a stronger U.S. dollar. From that point of view, I welcome a weaker U.S. dollar.
How do you take advantage of that, Mickey? What sectors are interesting to you right now? What's most appealing out there?
Well, as before, I'm very focused on U.S. gold plays, Western U.S., advanced plays in the Western U.S. We share some commonality there with companies that we're involved with. Always looking for good copper plays. I am extremely bullish on copper. It's taken quite a hit here over the last it was down 6, 7 weeks in a row, but it's rallied a bit this week. It's up to 285. When it hit 272 or whatever last week, that's below the marginal cost of production of about 10 to 15% of the world's copper. So you knew that wasn't going to last very long. We have the labor agreement that has to be settled at Escondida by Tuesday. If that doesn't come about, you're going to see a short-term bounce, at least a short-term bounce in the copper price. So all in all, looking for copper plays, looking for gold plays, and with recent developments in the uranium sector, with Cameco putting McArthur River and the Key Lake Mill on undetermined shuttering. Who knows how that's going to last? That's 19 million pounds average annual production off the market. And in regards to that, uranium jumped from 23.88 in the spot price yesterday to on Wednesday to 25.63 on Thursday for over a 7% gain. Nobody's still making money producing uranium at 25, 26 bucks, but it looks like we're probably headed eventually toward a $40 price, and that makes U.S. ISR production economic.
I agree 100%, Mickey. With that being said, what companies do you like? Or are there specific companies right now that have piqued your interest?
Well, the companies I cover right now, Trilogy Metals, that's copper play in Northwest Alaska, arguably the two best undeveloped, highest grade giant copper deposits in the world, and favorable geopolitical jurisdiction. That said, we picked that stock at last May 25th, so a year and 2 months ago, at 65 cents, and it reached its all-time high of $2.01 yesterday. These are all American prices. It's listed on the New York American Exchange. So that one may have got away from people if they weren't already in it. I haven't sold a share since I bought it. I need to take some profits at some point, I suppose. That's
always wise.
That's a good 3-bagger for subscribers, and so we always want to take profits. And the other company I cover presently is Ely Gold Royalties, a hybrid prospect generator royalty company with 70 projects in Nevada in various stages of exploration and development. Very quickly turning more to a royalty model, but continuing to generate projects. They've got about 40 of their 70 prospects ventured out either via option or where they are collecting advanced royalty payments at the present time. So that stock's got Price of last time I checked about 11 and a half cents, and 76 million shares outstanding if memory serves. So you're you're looking at a Canadian market cap about $8 million. So we think it should be deservedly should be valued as a small royalty company. And you look at its peers, and they're trading for 10 to 20 times the market cap that illegal royalties has.
Excellent stuff, Mickey. I wouldn't be a great Cub fan if I didn't ask you about your Cardinals and talked a little baseball here. What's the season looking like the rest of the year? I know Matheny got outed here recently.
Yeah, well, the trade deadline's on Tuesday also, and there's moves coming. Cardinals are a 500 baseball team. They do have a 3-game series in St. Louis with the Small Bears this weekend, and but I expect them to make moves today. The bullpen's a mess. They got a great leadoff hitter, and some people are underachieving. Other than that, so there are moves coming. I think for the most part, it's a long shot that they make the playoffs this year. 3 years in a row not making the playoffs if that happens, and that is absolutely unacceptable in St. Louis. And rest assured, changes are coming.
Good stuff. Mickey, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot.